So we're going to see if we can cover two chapters today, chapter 5 and chapter 6 of Dinge wat ek nie van skape geweet het nie. Like I did last time, I'm going to read a bit and then I'll explain in English and then I'll read a bit more. So that when you get the PDF, it'll be, I'll basically have read what is on the PDF. So here we go. Hoofstuk 5, Bazaar op de Aar. Vir die eerste keer in my lewe word ek op 'n dorp met die naam De Aar wakker. Dit was al donker toe ons gisteraand by die gastehuis aangekom het. Maar ek kon nogtans 3 dinge oor die dorp uitvind sonder dat ek nodig gehad het om te Google. 1. Dit word in die winter vrek koud. 2. Die kafee in die hoofstraat maak die lekkerste Dagwood toebroodjies en vetterige slapchips wat ek nog ooit geëet het. 3. Die dorp hou vandag kerkbazaar. Julle mag dit nie misloop nie, het die vrou van die gastehuis gisteraand seker 10 keer gesê, voordat ons gaan slaap het. 'n Kerkbazaar op 'n dorpie soos ons is 'n belewenis. Sy weet natuurlik nie hoeveel kerkbazaars my ouma al in haar lewe bygewoon het nie. Nadat ons ontbyt geëet het, gaan laai ons bagasie in die Land Rover. Op die vooruit is 'n dun laagie ys, soos dit in die nag geryp het. My ouma sukkel 'n paar keer om die Land Rover aan die gang te kry. Dit proes klarig soos iemand wat nie lus het om op 'n koue wintersoggend op te staan vir skool nie. Vandag gaan ons 'n klompie plaaspaaie in die omgewing verken, sê my ouma. Ek sien uit na 'n paar mooi foto's. Fantasties! Dit beteken ons gaan die hele dag agter windpompe aanry. Ek het een keer 'n tekenprent gesien oor 'n mallerige ridder wat op sy perd rondsweef en windmeulens bestorm het omdat hy gedink het dis die vyand. Ek wonder of my ouma dit al gesien het. Die dorpie se strate is verbasend besig so vroeg op 'n Saterdagoggend. Ons kry 'n parkeerplek naby die Shoprite in die Hoofstraat. Snaaks, my ouma trek haar neus op vir Bloemfontein, maar sy het niks oor De Aar te sê nie. Al lyk alles vaal en vervalle en vuil. Ek gaan vir ons koeldrank kry en iets vir middagete, sê sy. Kom jy saam? Ek skud my kop. Right, so in this section, it's the first time Luan has woken up in a town called De Aar. It was already dark when they arrived here, but he has already figured out 3 things about this town. He didn't even have to Google them. He knows it gets flippin' cold. He knows that the cafe in the main street makes the best Dagwood sandwiches and the nice fat slap chips, or the fatty slap chips that he's ever eaten. And he knows that today the town is having a church bazaar. And the lady at the guest house told them they mustn't miss it because a bazaar in a town like De Aar is apparently amazing. And Luan thinks, well, you don't know how many church bazaars my grand's been to. After they've had breakfast, they load up the luggage in the Land Rover. On the windscreen, there's a layer of ice because it frosted the night before. And she struggles a bit, Oma, to get the Land Rover going. And it coughs and moans as though it's like a child that doesn't really want to wake up for school in the morning. Then she says, today we are going to go along some farm roads and take a few nice photos. Luan thinks, oh, fantastic, that means we are going to be chasing after windmills again. He says he once saw this cartoon of this mad rider that was riding around his horse chasing windmills and attacking windmills thinking that they were the enemy. I don't know if any of you know what that story is called. The town streets are extremely busy and it's early on a Saturday morning and they get parking near the Shoprite on the main street. And funny enough, his gran is not very impressed with Bloemfontein where his family lives, but she's had nothing to say about De Aar, which looks very dull and broken down and dirty. And then she says she's going to get a cool drink and something for lunch, and she wants to know if he's coming with, and he shakes his head. And that's the end of the first section. Jou ma het gisteraand gebel om te hoor of ons veilig is, sê sy toe sy uitklim. Sy stuur groete. Ek rol net my oë. Toe my ouma weg is, sit en hou ek die mense dop wat verbystap. Wat op aarde doen mense op 'n stowwerige dorpie soos die? Op 'n Saterdagoggend laai my ma hulle my gewoonlik by een van die winkelsentrums af en dan kuier ek die hele dag lank saam met Ryan en Div. Vrydag en Saterdagaande kuier ons by mekaar of hang by iemand se huis uit as daar 'n partytjie is. 'n Voertuig hou in die parkeerplek langs die Land Rover stil. Eers herken ek nie die silwer bussie nie, maar dan sien ek die woorde trap vir kanker teen die kant geskryf, met 'n pink stryk en 'n foto van 'n fietsryer daarby. Agter die bussie is 'n fiets aan 'n hak vasgemaak. Ek wip soos ek skrik toe iemand skielik hard teen my ruit klop. Dis die meisie wat ek gister by die dam gesien het. Haar hare is vanoggend in 'n ponystaart vasgemaak. Ek draai die ruit oop. Agtervolg jy my, vra sy met 'n frons tussen haar groen oë. Wat? Nee, brom ek. Vir wat sal ek so iets doen? Moenie dink ek het nie gesien hoe jy gister na my kant toe kyk nie, sê sy. Ek snork, maar my wange word vuurwarm. Nie simpel wees nie. Vir jou inligting, ek was maar net nuuskierig om te sien wat se boek jy lees. Sy proes van die lag. Ek maak net 'n grap hoor. Is jy altyd so knorrig of net vroegoggend? Partye vrae kan 'n mens nie antwoord sonder om simpel te klink nie. Daarom bedui ek eerder na die bussie. Trap vir kanker, vra ek? Sy knik. My pa samel geld in vir borskanker. Hy ry met sy fiets van Bloemfontein af Kaap toe en weer terug. Wow, sê ek. Ek wil nou nie vir haar slegte nuus gee nie, maar haar pa het gister baie moeg gelyk. Nie jy soos iemand wat op 'n fiets al die pad van Bloemfontein af Kaap toe en weer terug kan ry nie. Dit voel ongeskik om hier in die Land Rover te sit terwyl sy buite staan. Daarom klim ek uit. Dis meer as 2000 km, sê sy. Vandag is 'n lekker kort skof. Ons slaap vanaand op Britstaan oor. Dis net 50 kilos hier vandaan. Beginning of this section, his grand says that his mom phoned the night before to see if they're all safe, and she sends greetings. Luan just rolls his eyes, and then when his grand was gone to go and get a cool drink and something for lunch, he wondered what these people do in this dusty town. On a Saturday, he would normally be dropped off by his mom at one of the shopping centers, and then he would spend the whole day there having fun with Ryan and Div. Friday and Saturday evenings, they would visit with each other at one of their houses and all hang out if there was a party. While he's sitting there waiting for his grand, a vehicle stops in the parking space next to the Land Rover. At first he doesn't recognize the silver combi, but then he sees the words Trap vir kanker written on the side of the combi, and it's got a pink ribbon attached and a photograph of a cyclist. Behind the Volkswagen bus there's a bike that's attached to a hook, and he gets a big fright when someone suddenly knocks on the window of the Land Rover. It's the girl that he saw at the dam the day before. Her hair's in a ponytail today, and so he winds down the window and she says to him, "Are you following me?" And she frowns. He says, "What? No, why would I do something like that?" And then she says to him, "Don't think I didn't notice how you were looking at me yesterday." He snorts, and although he does, his cheeks get a bit warm. And he says, "Don't be silly. For your information, I was just inquisitive about which book you were reading." She laughs, and then she says, "I'm just joking. Are you always so grumpy, or is it just because it's early morning?" Sometimes you can't really answer questions like that without sounding stupid, so he changes the subject and indicates the bus, the combi, and he says, "What's this trap for kanker?" She nods and says, "Well, my dad's raising money for breast cancer. He's cycling from Bloemfontein to Cape Town and then back again." Luan is quite impressed now, because he doesn't want to give her bad news, but her father looked very tired yesterday. And it doesn't look exactly like someone that can travel on a bicycle from Bloemfontein to Cape Town and back again. but it feels that he feels a bit uncomfortable sitting in the Land Rover while she's outside, so he climbs out, and she tells him it's more than 2,000 kilometers. But she said today is a nice short section, only up to Bridgetown, and that distance is about 50 kilos from where they are now. 50 kilometer met 'n fiets klink vir my nog steeds ver. Die meisie se ma en pa kom oor die straat aangestap. Die oom stap stywe been soos iemand wat nie gewoond is aan baie kilometers op 'n fiets deurbring nie. Dit is my ma en pa, sê Lana, en dit is Luan Lou, stel ek my voor. My stem klink jeserig, seker omdat ek dit die laaste tyd so min gebruik het. Die tannie glimlag en kyk met 'n frons na my. Maar jy was mos gister by die dam, voltooi Lana haar ma se sin. Ek dink hy spioneer op ons. 'n Spioen, sê vra die oom met 'n frons. Ek het nie, begin ek sê, maar dan besef ek, hulle maak 'n grap. Dis nogals indrukwekkend. Dis asof hulle al drie gelyk besluit het om dieselfde grap te maak. Ek dink nie my gesin sal dit ooit regkry nie. Al oefen ons 'n jaar lank. My ouma kom met 'n sak inkopies uit die winkel gestap. Sy lyk verbaas toe sy my met die vreemde mense sien praat. Of dalk is sy net verbaas om my te sien praat. Dit is my ouma Alice, stel ek haar voor. En ouma, dis Lana en haar ma en pa. Dis die eerste woorde wat ek sedert gisteroggend met my ouma gepraat het. Dit voel asof ek pas 'n weddenskap verloor het. Hoe ken jy my naam? Fluister vla Lara verbaasd terwyl die groot mense kennis maak. Ek trek my skouers op. Ek is 'n goeie spioen. Die dorp hou vanoggend kerkbazaar, sê Lana se pa, en sit sy arm om sy vrou se skouer. Hulle het my genooi om 'n praatjie oor die trap vir kankerveldtog te kom gee. Hoe lyk dit? Wil julle nie saamgaan nie? Nooi hy? So 'n bazaar op 'n klein dorpie is partykeer pret, voeg die tannie by. Ek sukkel om my lag te hou. Dit klink of die hele wêreld ons baie graag by die Aar se kerkbazaar wil hê. Ek het ongelukkig planne vir die oggend, maak my ouma verskoning. Sy kyk na my en byt op haar onderlip. Maar dalk het Luan lus om saam te gaan. Hy is die soort ouetjie wat mal is oor kerkbazaars. Of hoe, Luan? Luan thinks that 50 kilometers actually sounds pretty far still. Then the girl's mother and father come walking across the street. The uncle is walking very stiffly, as though he's someone that's not really used to traveling so many kilometers on a bicycle. Lana introduces them as her mom and dad, and then she says, and then Luan introduces himself, Luan Lou. His voice sounds a bit hoarse, probably because he hasn't used his voice much in the last day or two, since he's been with his gran. And then the auntie smiles and looks at him with a frown and says, but weren't you yesterday? And then Lana finishes the sentence and says, yeah, we saw him at the dam. And she says, I think he's a spy. And then the dad says, like, questioningly, oh, a spy. And then Luan starts saying, I didn't. But then he realizes they're just joking by calling him a spy. They just all making a big joke. And he thinks that's quite impressive, because it's as though they all decided at the same time to crack this joke about him being a spy. And he doesn't think anything like that would ever happen in his family, because it would take them a year to just think up a joke which they could all do together. Then his gran comes walking across with shopping. She looks very embarrassed. Oh no, she looks very surprised that he's talking to strangers. Or maybe she's just surprised that he's talking full stop. He introduces her as his Oma Alice, and then he introduces his Oma to Lana and her mom and dad. It's the first words that he's spoken to his gran since they left, or since the previous morning. And it feels as though he's lost a bet, because now he's speaking and he's kind of the first to speak. While his gran is talking to the adults, Lana whispers to him, how do you know my name? And then he shrugged his shoulder and he says, oh, I'm a good spy. Then Lana's dad reminds them again that there's a church bazaar and the fact that they've asked him to do a talk about the whole cycling for cancer journey, and he wants to know if they want to come with. And then the auntie also says, yeah, you know, a church bazaar is like quite a wonderful place, lots of fun. And Luan struggles to stop his laughter because it sounds like everybody in this town, including this family, want them to go to the church bazaar. His grand says, don't worry, unfortunately I've got plans for the morning. And then she bites on her underlip and she says, but maybe Luan would like to go with you. He's the kind of guy that's mad about church bazaars. Aren't you, Luan? She says to him. Probeer sy my naam krater maak of wat? Huiwer ek. Jy kan sommer saam met ons ry, bied Lana aan. Hier is genoeg plek in die bussie. Afgespreek, sê my ouma. Sy kyk op haar horlosie. Luan, ek kom laai jou 12 uur by die bazaar op. Sy haal haar besie uit en stop 'n paar geldnote in my hand. Moenie laat wees nie. Die geel Land Rover wag vir niemand nie. En dis nie genoeg geld vir 'n buskaartjie terug Bloemfontein toe nie. He wonders if she's trying to make his name Krater, which is like to make a fool of him. And then Lana says, first he's like hesitates, says, and then Lana says, oh, you can ride in the bus with us. There's enough place in the Foxy bus. So Grant says, okay, that's decided. She looks on her watch and she says, Luan, I'm going to come and pick you up at 12 o'clock at the bazaar. And she says, please don't be late because the yellow Land Rover waits for no one. And this money I'm giving you, she gives him some money from her wallet. And she says, this money is not enough to get you back to Bloemfontein. So make sure you're ready for me. Hoofstuk 6. Die depressiefste skaap op aarde. Ek hoef nie verder te wonder wat mense op 'n Saterdagoggend in 'n dorpie soos dit doen nie. Hulle hou kerkbazaar. Wel, dis in elk geval wat hulle vanoggend doen. Rondom die kerk lyk dit soos 'n muurnes. Oral staan plaasbakkies geparkeer. Daar is vrolike bontstelletjies in die lug ruik na pannekoek en braaivleis. Soos ek vroeër gesê het, moenie vergeet om 'n draai by die koektafel te maak nie, kon 'n geluidsprekerstem aan. Daar is oude gewoonte van Tannie Maritjie se stroopsoet koeksusters te koop. En onthou ook van die praatjie 10 uur in die saal. Ons spreker is al die pad van Bloemfontein en hy gesels oor 'n dapper fietstoer om geld vir borskanker in te samel. Lana se pa kyk op sy horlosie. Dit is oor 'n halfuur, sê hy. Ek wil so lank die PowerPoint gaan opstel en so aan. Kom julle saam? Miskien 'n ander keer, pa, sê Lana dadelik. Ek ken sy praatjie al uit my kop, verduidelik sy vir my. Verraaier, sê haar pa verwytend. Sy grinnik en gee hom 'n druk. Breek 'n leg, pa. Ek probeer my bes om nie verbaas te lyk nie. Hierdie soort geterg bestaan ook nie in my gesin nie. As ons mekaar verwyd of sleg sê, bedoel ons dit. Kom jy, vra Lana vir my, wil jy na 'n halfuur lange praatjie vol borskanker statistiek luister? Ek laat my nie 2 keer nooi nie. Ons dwaal tussen die stalletjies rond. Wow, sê Lana toe ons verby die handwerktafel loop. Uiteindelik het ek die perfekte verjaarsdag geskenk vir my ma gekry. Sy bedui na 'n pink en wit toilet oortreksel vol frilletjies. Ek proes, hierdie keer weet ek darm, sy maak 'n grap. Right, start chapter 6. Luan doesn't have to wonder anymore what people do on a Saturday morning in a town like this because they have a church bazaar. Around the town is looking like an ant's nest. Everywhere there's farm buckies have been parked all over the place. And there's lovely bright stalls, and the air smells of pancake and braaivleis. There's often people making announcements on the loudspeakers, and first they say, don't forget to go to the cake table, because Tannie Mariki's making her lovely syrupy cooksisters. And remember, there's a talk at 10 o'clock in the hall. That's obviously Lana's dad's talk. When Lana's dad looks at his watch and he says, it's in about half an hour of the talk, so I'm going to go set up my PowerPoint. Lana says, no, they don't think they're going to join. She doesn't really want to join because she knows her dad's talk out of her head. And her dad says, oh, she's a verraaier, she's a traitor. But she smiles and gives him a hug and says, break a leg, Dad. Luan tries not to look too surprised, because that would never happen in his family. If they were trying to be horrible to each other, they would actually mean it. Meantime, Lana's just joking with her dad. So the two of them go off and they go wandering around the stalls. Lana's quite impressed with this sort of handwork table she goes to, and then she says, eventually I found the perfect birthday present for my mom. And she indicates a pink and white toilet cover, you know, those embroidered sort of toilet covers. Luan sort of gulps, but now at least he knows she's joking. Maar die tannie agter die tafel besef dit duidelik nie. Wil jy dit koop, vra sy gretig. Dit is gehekel. Ek probeer nog kies, sê Lana kamma in gedagte. Dalk moet ek eerder vir haar een van daardie lappoppe daar ander kant koop. Dalk is sarkasme een van haar superkragte. Ons stap verder voor die tannie regtig kan probeer om die toiletoortreksel aan ons af te smeer. Kan ek vir jou 'n pannekoek koop, vra ek toe ons by die pannekoekstelletjie kom. Lana glimlag. Ek dog jy vra nooit. Om die een of ander rede voel ek hoe my gesig weer warm word. Ek is nie seker hoeveel pannekoeke meisie eet nie, maar ek koop vir ons elkeen 2 by 'n vriendelike ronde tannie. Ons gaan sit eenkant op 'n ry lucernbale om dit te eet. So wat doen jy op die aar, vra Lana. Haar neus is pink van die oggendkoue. Lang storie, sê ek en vat 'n hap van my pannekoek. Die kaneelsuiker is stroperig gesmeld. Ek weet sommer sy gaan verder uitvra. Maar ons albei kyk gelyk om toe ons 'n snaakse geluid hoor. Meh! 'n uitgerekte, treurige blergeluid. Kyk daar, sê Lana sag. Agter die parkeerterrein is 'n ry tydelike kampies. In elke kampie is 'n skaap. Lana spring op en stap nader. Vinnig prop ek die laaste hap van my pannekoek in my mond en loop agterna. Ek snuif die lug en trek my neus op 'n plooi. Iets ruik nie lekker nie. Lana gaan staan voor een van die kampies en sak op haar hurke neer. Hallo, sê sy saggies vir die skaap wat met haar kop teen die heining leun. Die skaap antwoord met 'n sagte bler. Ek sak op my hurke langs Lana neer. Die skaap hou ons met goudbruin oë dop. Haar ore hang slap langs haar kop. As daar 'n prys vir die depressiefste skaap op aarde was, het hierdie een gewen, sê ek. Lana sê niks. Sy streel net oor die skaap se wollerige kop. But the lady that's selling the toilet cover doesn't think she's joking and says, like, do you really want to buy this? It's been crocheted. And Lana says, actually, I'm still choosing. Maybe I must rather get my mom one of those rag dolls over there. And then Luan wonders, maybe sarcasm is one of Lana's superpowers. They walk a bit further away from before the auntie decides to try and sell them this toilet cover. And then Luan asks if he can buy a pancake. She smiles. Lana smiles and says, I thought you would never ask. And for some reason, he's not sure why, but his cheeks get warm again. And he's not quite sure how many pancakes girls would eat, but he buys them 2 each. Then they go and sit on a lucerne bale and they eat their pancakes. And Lana wants to know what he's doing in the R, and her nose is pink from the cold morning air. He says it's a long story, and he takes a bite of his pancake, and the cinnamon sugar has melted like into nice syrup. And then he knows she's going to ask him more, but before she can even answer, they hear the strange sound, meh, a rather drawn out, sad, bleating sound from a sheep. And Lana says, look there, and behind the parking area is a row of temporary camps, and in each camp there is a sheep. Lana jumps up and goes closer. Quickly, Luan gulps down the last of the pancake, and sniffs the air and pulls up his nose because something doesn't smell very nice. They go and stand in front of one of the camps, and Lana goes down on her haunches, and she says hello very softly to a sheep that's got her head on the fence. And the sheep answers her with a soft meh. He goes down on his haunches next to Lana, and the sheep looks at them with his golden brown eyes, and her ears are lying down slapped next to her head. And Luan says if there's a prize for the most impressive sheep on earth, it would probably be this one. Lana says nothing, she just strokes the sheep's woolly head. Dames en here, ons herinner u net aan ons slagskaapveiling wat 12 uur plaasvind, kondig die stem oor die luidspreker aan. Moenie die geleentheid misloop om 'n lekker Karoo skaap vir die vrieskas te kry nie. Ek is nie seker of 'n skaap kan sug nie, maar dit klink presies so. Lana druk haar voorkop teen die skaap se neus. Hoe kan mense so wreed wees, prewel sy sonder om op te kyk. Ek weet nie wat om te sê nie. Gelukkig het ek net nou vir ons pannekoek gekoop, eerder as die skaapvleis se saaties wat so lekker geruik het. Lana staan op. Haar oë is blink van die trane. Ek weet nie eens wat ek veronderstel is om te doen nie. Dis nie asof ek 'n sakdoek of iets het wat ek vir haar kan gee nie. Wat kos 'n skaap? Vra sy saggies vir my, asof sy nie wil hê die skaap moet hoor nie. Ek weet nie, sê ek, maar ek dink dit is nogal baie. My pa kla altyd oor hoe duur vleis is. Sy buig weer af en slaan haar arms om die skaap se nek. Ek wonder waarom sy juist die skaap gekies het. Daar's nog 'n hele paar ander skape in die kampies, dalk omdat die een so treurig blær. Dink jy sy het 'n naam, vra Lana met haar gesig teen die skaap se nek. Hoe moet ek weet, brom ek? Ek dink die mense gee vir skape name as hulle van plan is om hulle te slag nie. Maar toe ek sien hoe Lana na die skaap kyk, voel ek dadelik sleg omdat ek so ongeduldig klink. Wat van Fluffy, vra ek. Of Wolraad, dit klink soos goeie name vir 'n skaap. Lana rol haar oë. Wolraad is 'n seunsnaam, Luan, sy is 'n oei. My gesig word warm. Hoe dit ding is, weet sy dit. Ek weet regtig niks van skape af nie. Wat van Dolores, sê Lana. Dit is die hartseerste naam wat ek ken. Die skaap gee weer 'n treurige blær. Lana vee haar trane met die agterkant van haar hand weg. Goodbye, Dolores, sê sy. Sterkte. There's an announcement over the loudspeaker again, and they say, we're just reminding you that there is a sheep for the slaughter auction, which is going to take place at 12 o'clock. Don't miss this opportunity to get a lovely Karoo sheep for the freezer. He's not sure if a sheep could sigh, but it sounds as though this is what the sheep does when this announcement is made. Lana presses her forehead against the sheep's nose. How can people be so cruel, she says, without looking up. He doesn't know what to say, says Luan. Fortunately, he bought them pancakes earlier, rather than those delicious lamb societies that smell so nice. Lana stands up, her eyes are full of tears, and he doesn't exactly know what he's supposed to do. It's not as though he's got a handkerchief or anything that he can give to her. She softly says to him, what does a sheep cost? As though she doesn't want the sheep to hear. Luan says he doesn't know, but he thinks it's quite a lot. His dad's always moaning about how expensive meat is. She bends down and throws her arms around the sheep's neck. He wonders why she specifically chose this sheep. It's not like it's the only sheep there. There's a whole lot of sheep in all the other camps. But maybe it's because this one looks so sad. Then Lana says to him, do you think she's got a name? And she's got her face, her face against the sheep's neck. Luan gets a bit grumpy and says, how should I know? He doesn't think that people would give a sheep a name if they were going to slaughter it. But then he can see how Lana's looking at the sheep, and he feels immediately quite bad that he was so impatient. And then he says, what about Fluffy or Volraad? He thinks those are good names for a sheep. And Lana rolls her eyes and says that Volraad is a boy's name, and this sheep is a ewe. Once again, his face gets a bit warm, and he wonders, how did she know that? And he really knows nothing about sheep. And then Lana says, what about Dolores? That's the saddest name that she knows. The sheep gives another tragic blare, and then Lana wipes her eyes at the back of her hand. Goodbye, Dolores, she says. Sterkte, meaning strength to you. Dan draai sy en begin wegstap. Kom hier saam, roep sy oor haar skouer vir my. Ek wil nie langer hier bly nie. Dis die einde van hoofstuk 6. Then she turns around and starts to walk away. Are you coming? She says over her shoulder. I don't want to be here any longer. And that's the end of chapter 6. Dames en heren, ons herinner u net dat ons Dames en heren, ons herinner u net aan ons skaaps.
I thought you were busy doing
No,
and I thought you were talking to the
because
video.
I need to. No, I just keep filming and then I just cut it out what I'm going to do. I remember the guy that chased the windmills? Don Quixote. Okay, you can take the slippers and bye-bye.
No, it's fine. I'm going to just watch this on.
Oh, well then you take the slippers. Do you want to keep cold? And then I will carry on from where I stopped. When I couldn't think of Don Quixote, I was thinking of Don Juan, but that wouldn't be the right one.
Don Quixote.
Don Quixote.